Welcome to another episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast. I'm your host, Dana and Kelley. Happy New Year. I'm in the studio with Kelley, and we're doing a recap.
Yes. Dana's my New Year's date.
Yes. Yeah, New Year's Eve
date.
We're gonna count. We're gonna kind of like recap 2024 because we had so much that
A lot.
it's like, and sometimes you sit, like I was just talking to Greg the other night and I was like, do you feel like we didn't like, God, 2024, like, do we do, and he's like, do we do much? Like, what did we accomplish? And he's like, are you kidding me? Like,
Exactly.
This was a big year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I forget. So I feel like it's really important to reflect, you know? And sometimes when you're feeling, it's like, you can forget, like time passes, you do and it's like, you don't take the time to sit and reflect on all that you've done.
Well, even when we got the last email of the year from you, and we're looking at those, and she said, I just want to do everything that we launched. And I was like, what about the cookbook? We forgot the cookbook. We did that, So we did more than sometimes we just get so engulfed in what's happening that you don't stop to enjoy everything that we've done.
Oh yeah.
So
and
it's
each
crazy.
thing, like we work so hard and then it comes and then it launches and then it's crazy and then we're on to the next. And then you don't so I think that it's important. I mean, I think that's in anybody's life, everything that you accomplish, whether you're raising children, you have a business, you're in a relationship, whatever, sit back and just think, geez, where was I last year? And what did I accomplish with it this year? You know, like what did we do?
Pat yourself on the back.
Yes.
For the job
if it's
well
your
done,
wellness journey, your fitness journey, I know a lot of people will probably be standing there being like, oh, I should be fitter. I should be this. I should be that. But it's like, well, what were you last year?
You know what? That goes back to what you've always said, take the pictures.
Yeah.
Because I despised, that was one of the things that I hated most about like competing.
Yeah.
And doing the progress pics. And then sometimes, but you'll forget.
You forget.
You know?
I forget. That's why I'm so glad. I called them my money shots, like that my mom saved of me or took of me because I never wanted anybody to take pictures of me when I was so heavy. And I would be like, ew, don't get me in the But meanwhile, now
hide behind,
And now when I find them, I'm like, man, like I forget like where I came from, what I did, it's like, I mean, at my highest, I mean, at 210 and then I gave birth to the kids and then I struggled and it's like, I kind of forget how hard I had to work to get to where I am now.
And you don't appreciate where you are. Sometimes you get really self-critical.
Because I'm like, I want more.
Exactly, where you are, and you forget how amazing everything that you've done is.
Yes.
And how grateful we are that everything works the way that it's supposed to. So it's amazing.
Sometimes, I've always preached, like, when you're trying to accomplish something, like, put your blinders on, put your head down, get to work, focus, just look forward, because that's that's like the mentality that you have to have when you do have a far way to go. It's daunting. There are plenty of people, I'm sure, who are listening to this who, might have, 50 pounds to lose, or I see a lot on social media. I've lost 100 pounds. I lost it. And during that journey, you're just working, going through it. You want to get through it. But then, like, it's okay to celebrate on the other side and to look back and then be like, whoa, like, because it's okay to celebrate
it and then to move on.
Yeah.
So nostalgia or those thoughts can be one of two things. If you sit there and dwell on them and that, then sometimes it can be detrimental. But you can stop, appreciate it, and then continue to move forward.
Appreciate it also because it's showing you what you're capable of.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. Like, sometimes, like, when I look at what we've done with Devotion,
golly,
it's like it's been 9 years, and I look back and like everything that we've been through since day one and all of it. I mean, that's 9 years.
Yeah.
So it's like we've been through a lot. And yet I'll sit there and be so critical of myself. We should be doing more. Yeah. We should be doing that. We should be doing that. And then I'll sit back and be like, damn, like, I don't even know if I could redo what we did. Like, it's been a lot to build a brand from scratch. To build a brand from scratch, of reputation, product, all that. It's no little feat.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot. And I didn't even get there. I mean, I got there right after you.
Yeah.
Right after you launched. And there was so much work before that too. So when you say 9 years, that's not even all of it. That's from the launch until then.
That was for customers to buy. That's not even the 2 years of just talking and planning.
And then the first 5 years of the brand, or 4 years, I guess, maybe 4, because I've been here for 5 years, which is
Wild.
crazy that I can even eat that. But when I got here, we still had flex flavors and we had 2 flavors of protein, and that's it. And so the first 4 years was like scratching and clawing and scratching and clawing with those 2. And now in the last 5, look at what we've done.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane. And it's so funny because it takes the perfect blend of staying focused and then thinking big. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't just be so focused on the little minute things.
Yeah.
But then again, you can't not look at the big picture and be like, where do we want to go? Who do we need to target? What do we want to do? You know, it's like you've got to, but yet you can't ignore the details. So it takes like this whole balance of, you know, and figuring out who are your customers, who needs you, and does this resonate with. And
that was what was so hard from the beginning, is that because devotion is for everybody. So it was really hard for us to zone in and target our find our target audience or our target.
I mean, if we're going way back, I fought tooth and nail in the beginning to want to just target the bodybuilders. Yeah. And the reason why I did that was because 9 years ago, social media, the people who were posting and showing off and showing their journeys were the bodybuilders, the fitness people, because they were so proud of their bodies. That's who was using protein. That's everything. So I was like, guys, we have to just get to these bodybuilders. And yet the bodybuilding world is such a little pin dot. And my team kept telling me that. I knew that, but I was like, but who is posting? And who are the people, the mainstream people, looking towards to say, how do you look like that? You know what I mean? It was like a mystery. So like, even though maybe, you know, right now that's not my target anymore, you have to start somewhere. You have to pick something. You have to like kind of like know like.
Well, we started where you started where you were, and that's how I found you, because that's what I knew too. You know, that's how I found devotion.
Yeah.
But I think it expanded from finding that target from the aesthetic view to targeting, because devotion is so good for people just in any wellness journey, just for general health, and hitting protein goals. So that was hard for me too. What you just said about thinking big, you know, and the change thing, you know, because I know you probably remember that was, you know, because I got in and I was stuck with like where we were, and I was like, okay, I have to think outside the box.
Change is difficult.
And do these things.
You're, and which I don't mind, because I was the same way. Like even with the rebranding years ago, it was hard for us to wrap our head around rebranding. And the changes are hard because, you know, you fall in love with something and you get comfortable with something, and yet to think about the change. And I remember like going from this like crazy colorful bottle that's all like, that was like this like art piece of like artwork. It was like nuts. Like it looked like a
tribal. It was like tribal art stuff, or
it was wild.
Fleur-de-lis stuff or whatever.
It was
crazy,
wild. It had like 14 different fonts and colors, and it was wild. And like that's what I thought I wanted. I wanted it to be different from the hardcore bodybuilding looking products. Yeah. So I was trying to do that. I kind of based it on like what Arizona Iced Tea did with their beautiful cans, and I was like, I want it artsy. But then it like we went like way too far. Yeah. And then bringing it back to finally, you know, when we were presented the new branding, it was so tame looking that I was like, what? Like,
I did the same thing. Yeah. I'll never forget when I got emailed that first little draft. And I was
Me too. Right?
Oh God, what is this?
Just this D in a circle. Like I was like, it was like, what? And like I was like, this is what I paid for. I mean, I paid a lot back then. Yeah. The money that we paid to rebrand was, I mean, not that it's not, it's still a lot of money, but meaning like when you're a company that isn't even making that in a month. Yeah, exactly. And this guy wanted like all this money to rebrand us. And I was like, this is what I paid for. This is what we got. A circle with a D in it. Like I could have gone like that. Like what? And it was like so insane thinking like at the time. But then it's like, you do have to kind of trust the process, which goes along again with anything, where it might seem crazy and it might seem like so out there that this is going to work. A white bottle with a circle D and a yummy picture, and I was like, oh, okay, you know. But you know, you trust the process, and then you have to like kind of take your time, and we did, you know. And now it's like our brand is, I feel like it's like probably the most gorgeous brand out there.
I think it's iconic.
It's iconic. It is. The branding is like no other company. Other companies look, and I'm not putting other up, but I'm just saying like they look expected. And I feel like ours is like very, like when you see that big black round D logo. It's like, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be like, when you see the golden arches, when you see the Nike swoosh,
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted that to be where you see the Circle D and people are like, oh, that's the Devotion D.
Yeah.
And we're headed that way. I mean, in 9 years, it's recognizable. Look, people even on social media steal our branding to just try to make it where people think it's Devotion.
That makes me nauseous.
Scammers.
I know. I hate that.
So
I hate that. And because I design those, and so when they take that, it really. I take it personally anyway. But that really ticks me off. I'm like, no.
But that's the world right now. I mean, that's everything. The Birkin bags are being copied by Walmart. So I mean, look, how do you think Birkin feels? They're like, Walmart, really? But everybody, and it's so funny because I'm like it's. What is it called? Flattery. It's a form of flattery. Like when somebody tries to
copy
is
you,
like the form of flattery, whatever, So but there's like a saying for that. But it's annoying. But I'm like, okay, well then I'm like, shit, we've made it. People are trying to copy it. Like there's dupes of us made. Like when there's a dupe of you made, that's like, I think that's cool. So anyway, so wrapping up 2024, to look back, our first big launch of 2024 was salted caramel cone.
Yes.
And that was like a long time coming because that was a flavor that was very difficult to nail. Mm-hmm. And it was worth the wait because we ended up nailing it, and it really is a delicious flavor. That's I think our number one seller now.
Yeah, and that's I have that every day. That's the one that I have every day. No matter what.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was thinking, didn't we launch that in 2023 when she had that on there? But it's because we worked on it for so long.
Yeah.
I still had stuff. That's why I was like,
a lot of stuff starts way back. Yeah. And then, so all the things with Devotion for 2024, this was a big year. We had the salted caramel cone.
Yep.
We had the whole Hydroflex line.
Yes.
We launched that.
Yep.
Then we decided in in summertime or springtime to do the seasonal gingerbread.
Yes.
And then do gingerbread.
That came together really good.
And that was a huge hit. That was a huge hit. Gingerbread was delicious.
Yeah.
We sold out. We just sold out the other day, which is the timing. The ordering that we did for gingerbread and the timing, I think it was like a couple days after Christmas we sold out. That was it. It was our seasonal.
Perfect.
It was for Christmas time. Mm-hmm. It went all the way from September to December to January, and now it's gone.
Yep.
And then, we do have some packets left. We ran a lot of packets. So, anybody who is dying to know what it tasted like, you could still grab some packets.
And they can get a 12-pack now.
Yes, and the 12 packs.
We do the 12 packs. So we're going to make the packets into 12 packs and make those available.
Just to not upset. Those will still get us through the winter. So, because I know for me, I'm still going to use gingerbread through the winter. Yeah. I still grab that. I do that for my proffies right now. So, I wouldn't, just because Christmas is over doesn't mean I don't want a gingerbread.
And the hot cocoa is really good with that too. That hot cocoa that you came up with that.
I do, So I do half a scoop of brownie really batter, half a scoop of the gingerbread.
Yep.
And it's so good. And I do a little cayenne because I like the spice. Yeah. So then we did that, and we did the bags. And the cookbook.
Which was a year in the freaking making.
That was a crazy... look at how many things we did this year. Yeah. Holy crow. So the cookbook then, we did the hardcover launch, and then we did a paperback.
Yeah.
And that was that took a year to do. And that was like...
You know what I just thought?
What?
Technically, we didn't just launch 5 flavors of Hydroflex because thanks to our marketing team's mess up. Yeah. We launched 10 flavors or 8 flavors.
2024.
8 flavors.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah,
I'm going in chronological.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, we'll get to that because there's a whole story.
Yeah.
But I'm just going in order of where it came. It was salted caramel, and then cookbook, and then gingerbread. We've been boom, 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 coming out with all this fun stuff. We launched a frother this year.
Yes.
Which our frother, it was a no-brainer for Devotion because the frother is such a game changer because you can use it at home. You can use it when you travel. We have one at work kitchen. Yeah. And it's such a quality frother and it doesn't have batteries. And that was the other thing I loved about ours, that it's rechargeable.
And it's so high powered. Yep. That's the other thing is that it's just, I didn't know when we launched it that it was going to be as crazy
Yeah.
That's what it was. But I mean, I think I reordered like 4 times this year.
Yeah.
For the frothers. So yeah, they're incredible.
We've brought them into stock. We've sold out, brought them back, sold out, brought them back because, I mean, at first we were conservative. We're like, let's just see if people like these. Yeah. And then they not only do they hold a charge for a really long time, they're very powerful. They come with all these attachments. It's just like a great frother. And the fact that it holds a charge for so long. Yeah. Like, I mean, I throw mine in my backpack. I bring it with me whenever I travel, use it in the hotel room. Like, it's just a great tool.
Yeah, it really is.
And I use it at home all the time now. Yeah. See, I used to make my coffee or my proffee where I'd make the creamer and then pour it into my coffee. Yeah. And now I make the creamer right in the mug, brew it in, and I don't have all these blender pieces.
I still do both. It depends on how I'm feeling that.
If you have the time, like a lot of mornings, if I'm in a rush, I'm just like, and I just brew my coffee and I'll do like, I mean, if you have the time today, I did not have the time. I didn't even have my overnight oats made. Like today was like a fail. Yeah, because I was starving. I grabbed like some like yucky bar that like Bodhi eats. It's like probably the crappiest bar for me. But like that, I was not prepared. Yeah. But like if you don't give yourself enough time and you don't prepare, but that's for another, we'll talk about that, about being prepared and how important that is. But anyway, so back to the launches. So then we launched the cookbook, we launched gingerbread, frothers. We have new ice shakers. We're always coming in, always new colors. The ice shakers we love. They're such high quality. They're so great.
When did we do the apparel? Was that last year? Or was that this year? Did we launch the new apparel this year too?
Oh, all those shirts? Probably this year. I feel like it was a lot this year.
Wow.
We did. Wow. Oh, maybe it was last year. I remember we sent holiday gifts to our...
Okay, so maybe it was the end of 2023 that we launched that.
Yeah, end of 23. Okay. So we did like hoodies and tank tops and all these like fun things that you can buy online. But that was like the end of 23, beginning of 24-ish kind of. And then we started immediately working. The HydroFlex was such a big hit and so delicious and people were loving it that we already had started working on new HydroFlex flavors. And then we just now, by accident, we were not supposed to launch them.
Until tomorrow.
Until January 1. We had a whole marketing plan.
Huge.
It was a whole plan.
We had the entire thing lined out and we were following the plan.
We were following the plan and we have a marketing team that works for Devotion. It's a handful of people that help us with, executing marketing things. And we go over everything with them. We meet once a week. We have our market, how we're rolling things out, how we're getting, and we said, okay, we've got the new HydroFlex. Now we waited, we got them in and we waited because we wanted it to be a special New Year's refresher, fresh New Year whole campaign. Yep. And I think it was, what was it? The day after Christmas?
Christmas, I think.
Okay, so it's like the day after Christmas or the day before.
No, it would have been that Friday because we send emails on Friday, right? Friday
well,
and Sunday.
First a text message went out at 1 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, I wake up and I have a text message from Devotion Nutrition because I'm on our text. I want to see like the text messages. And I'm like, what the heck?
Exactly.
Now, luckily, my phone is off at night.
Mine too.
But a customer wrote customer service being like, why did you guys text everybody at 1 a.m.? And I was like, why? What? It's 1 a.m. Like, first of all, I didn't approve that. Yeah. So our marketing team was like, sign up for the new HydroFlex. And I guess it was supposed to be, I'm assuming it was supposed to be 1 p.m.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 1 p.m. because that's the first thing I did when I woke up and I saw that.
Did you check? That was the first thing my mind
went. I screenshot it and I said, why did we get a text message at 1 a.m.? Yeah, it should have been 1 p.m.
So already we're like pissing off customers that were like texting people in the middle of the night to sign up for HydroFlex. Like, really, it's not that important. Like, they can do it at 1 in the afternoon. So that was a big mistake. And then...
It was later that same day.
Later that same day,
that the email went out. Yeah.
Our marketing team sends out an email to go buy HydroFlex.
Shop now.
Shop now. I'm like, what do you mean shop now? We just said we were waiting until January 1. So then, like, Kelly's over my house, and we're sitting there, and Greg and Dan, his brother, walk in, and like we're kind of like dumbfounded, like, okay, what are we doing right now?
What are we doing?
And I'm the type where I'm like, look, I know that not everyone's thinking as deeply as we are, but then again, Yeah, that's like BS. Like I put myself in the customer's shoes, and like I think of myself like where we have a lot of people that are excited and waiting for these Hydro Flask. There are companies that I get excited for when they launch new things, or I want to grab things,
and you're waiting,
and you're
waiting like in anticipation.
Yes, or you're upset. You go to their website, it says out of stock,
or it says sold out.
And you're like, and we've done that before where we send them and it says sold out, and people are like, did I already miss it? Like you just launched 12 seconds ago. Like how did I miss? So I was just like, ew, like that just sets a bad tone.
Yeah.
And so our whole marketing plan was in the toilet because they send this email they never should have sent.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. People were excited. So we called it like a soft launch. But Greg and Dan, like we looked at them and we're like, what should we do? And they were like, put them in stock.
Yeah.
Like that's a bad look.
Yeah.
And we've all agreed. I mean, it's like you don't want to jerk people around.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a marketing mistake. And so a lot of our affiliates and people were telling people January 1st. And I was like, actually.
And we had the big surprise with the free shipping thing that was going to happen.
And we were doing free shipping all January on the website. So we were going to surprise everybody, like new products, free shipping. Like we're doing a whole thing. And like everything just got botched.
Yeah.
And that was like, that's a bummer because it's like we planned.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. It was. And then you spent the next, 2 or 3 hours doing damage control, trying to get everything.
Oh, yeah. Kelly's scrambling
and
put
and
each
getting
thing.
the banners up and making sure that everything's in stock. And
the shipping
listings are
stuff
correct.
is correct.
And the shipping is right. And making sure the carts are correct.
And then everyone on our team needs to know. The shipping department needs to know. Bookkeeping and operations needs to know. Like every aspect of the company, customer service. Like it doesn't matter. Like everybody has to be aware of what's going on. Mm-hmm. Or, it's like we work like a machine. So it just threw everything because everybody was thinking one thing, then, So that was, But anyway, the new Hydro Flask are here. They're amazing. They're
incredible.
Like another level.
They really are. They are next level. Like it's every time we launch something, I don't think we can outdo ourselves. And then just bam.
Like it's this pack is so good that
it's so good
that it's actually making me question our next pack because I'm like, is it wow enough? Maybe not.
I think we need to probably run those back through the taste test again.
Yeah, we're going to run those too because it's like we love this line. I mean, now Devotion's all about getting in your protein, getting in your water. Like it's a whole lifestyle brand. And it's like we keep every time we launch something, it's like we always up it and and so then the standard is set higher and higher.
I know.
I'm like, okay, but this refresher pack, we called it refresher because like each one is like actually really refreshing. We've got the cucumber melon. It was the first that I chose. I was actually up in the lab. Yeah. And when they presented it to me, I was like, oh, that's the one I have in mind today.
Do you?
Yeah.
I have strawberry watermelon.
And I loved it. I was like, wow, this is really refreshing. It reminds me of a spa water. And it just set like a different type of tone. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, this is great. It is not heavy cucumber. It's definitely melon. It's definitely that like just refreshing. Like I thought of it as like when you're in a workout or it's hot or whatever, it just makes it easy to get in the water. It's light. It's not like this heavy, like, I don't know. So there's that one. I was like, yes. Yeah. And that was all day. Like I was like, okay, no question. And then, the strawberry watermelon loved. I think that was the second one we decided on. And that one also refreshing, delicious, like just the right amount of flavor of both.
Yeah, they all are. I mean, it's just, I can't say enough, good things about any of them. Like cucumber melon, just like you said, that's the one I usually have for my first water of the day. Yeah. It's like it doesn't like hit you light like and it's just really, really nice and refreshing. Get started. Then I usually either, peach mango is my absolute favorite out of this one.
Yeah, that my kids all love peach mango.
Crazy. I mean, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. I still haven't put it in my tea yet. I want to try it in iced tea.
Peach, So that peach is actually like a peach that we use in iced teas. My parents' company, and so my parents' company probably has the best peach flavors. Like they really like the peach. Yeah. And then the mango kind of rounds it out, so you're not just drinking peach. So you've got that. It's really. That one is solid, and that's my kid's favorite, which I'm like surprised because I thought they were going to say Bomb Pop, which that's what TikTokers are saying. Everybody on the internet is saying
that a lot
Bomb Pop is their favorite.
Like Rocket Pop,
or Rocket Pop. I'm sorry, I called it Bomb Pop. That's what the pop. But Rocket Pop. I'm always shocked. Like they're like, but my favorite's Rocket Pop, and I'm like, really?
That kind of knocks me out.
It's delicious, but
it's good. But I thought it would be for kids. Weird kind of like a favorite. Like there's so many different things that are going on in that. It's like maybe I love it. I don't know why I love it or what flavor it is exactly. It's got a lot going on, but yeah, they love it.
Yes. Like everybody who's tried it, like Steph, Jen, like all my friends who like I sent like a preview of that. Yeah. They're all like, Rocket Pop's amazing. Oh my God, Rocket Pop. And I'm like, I thought you guys were going to like peach mango. Yeah. Like what? And then like, and then some of them say, oh yeah, I like the peach, but like the watermelon, like Steph loves the strawberry watermelon. Yeah. What's really fun about not Flex Flavor, Hydroflex, oh my God, is that every single person has like a different order that they like them in. Mm-hmm. And so you never know. Like people want recommendations from others and I'm like, it's really so personal.
Just get the variety pack and taste them all.
It's so personal.
Yeah, it is.
It really is because I'm always shocked that I think that people are going to like one thing, then they like something else. I think one thing's going to be a top seller. I look at even the original flavors. Like my favorite, I love pina colada. You love margarita. Yeah. Like everybody reaches for something different. Yeah. So like if somebody was going to ask you a recommendation, yours is going to be different than what mine is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like that's why we always do variety packs.
Yep. Same thing.
Because how else are you going to find your own? How else? Like you can't just. I mean, it's so funny. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you ask the waiter, "What's your favorite thing on the menu?" It's like, who cares? Maybe he likes like swordfish and you hate fish. Like it's like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Everybody's so different. So
okay, so I just thought of something else that we did in 2024.
Oh God, what else did we do?
Because we're talking about the variety packs. We did not have the 12-pack variety bundle in a box until 2024 because we didn't have caramel. So we launched that this year too.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yes.
Because that's the first 12-pack before it was only 10. So when we launched salted caramel,
God, we did.
That's when we launched that one.
We were busy this year.
Busier than what we thought. Holy smokes.
Oh, and not only that, guys, we moved from like 2,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. Oh, and we have a filming kitchen and we have
a studio
kitchen that we film all of our content in. We took our content from me in my kitchen window with my iPhone.
Praying for the right sunlight.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'd set it up and then Florida with the rainy season, I was like, oh my God, I get out all the stuff. I'd be ready to go. And then all of a sudden the cloud comes over and I look like I'm like, oh no. So, yeah, I mean,
wow.
Yes. And I mean, when you look back.
Oh my gosh, we had a first brand visit.
Yeah, I wanted to get, we'll get
I'm
to
sorry.
that. No, that's okay.
I'm thinking about things. I'm like, oh my gosh.
No, there's so much. Yes.
So much more than what we.
Yeah, so then after, so we did an upgrade to our filming and our kitchen and all that. And then after we were all ready with that, we decided that we should do our first brand visit with, and we just wanted to test it out and see. And we brought 4 of the women who, have like platforms on social media that we like resonate with, that we love. They're really positive.
And that love devotion.
And then all the 4 women we had met in person already at events that we went to. So we also knew
there was a relationship
that there was yes. And it wasn't like bringing strangers because we knew. So like when people would say like, oh, you just brought we brought women that we knew because just to text some people off the internet and say, can we bring you in for our first brand visit? Like we needed to know that, the women were all like, and that everybody like knew each other and felt comfortable we'd
all spent time together. I mean, just not just like in passing, but we'd had dinners before and we'd spent time together
and these were all women that like, I have their text messages. Like I text them, I've done phone calls. Like these were people that I already felt comfortable, like basically bringing them into our home, like,
Yeah.
So the brand visit was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That was a lot of fun.
We did so much in just a few days.
Oh my God, we packed in so much stuff. But it was Teresa Parent, Tanya Spanglo, Tara Cragg, and Caitlin Foster. And I mean, it just it couldn't have gotten any better. I mean, everything was so smooth. Mm-hmm. We accomplished a lot. Now, the only thing that really has now been terrible about the whole thing was that all of the content that we hired a videographer to film, because we wanted to not only make the experience for the content creators who we brought in, we wanted it to be for our whole community, like our devotion people who love the content.
And theirs.
Right. Exactly. We wanted them to really feel like they were part of it. And so we hired a videographer who we'd worked with before to come in and and film the entire day from 8 a.m. to 5:30.
Yeah.
And we packed in so much stuff. We had the content in the kitchen. We went to the shipping department and shipped orders live. We had a blast. We did coffee talk. We
had a great lunch.
Yeah, we had a lunch. We had a Hydroflex tasting.
Yes.
That they were tasting all the new Hydroflex, the whole thing. And for some reason, when we walked in that morning, you didn't have the camera set up. And I was like, you know what, Kelly? No, you film it. I was like, no, film it. You film it.
So I did. Yeah.
And at first, in my gut, I was just like, no, we should have that. Mm-hmm. Thank gosh.
Yes.
Because
we would have nothing.
We would have nothing. He filmed all day long. And then at the end, we were like, okay, well, we want to use this content for December.
Yes.
And by the end of November, we were texting with him saying like, hey, like, will you have some stuff ready?
Yeah. It was about the third week in November. And he said that he would have first draft for us that weekend.
Yep.
And that was actually the time that I was leaving for Texas too. So it's just kind of like I was off the radar for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like the first week of December, I was like, hey,
we have nothing.
We still don't have any content. And this was supposed to be for this month of filming. And still nothing. And then it wasn't until when I got back. And then I was like, hey, Dana, he's not
responding.
He's not responding. He's not doing anything. And so we went from being like, well, I was pissed because we still don't have content. Yeah. And then we got concerned.
Well, then I was like,
not responding to anybody.
Yeah. Then I was like, well, maybe something happened to him.
Yeah,
like, because he wasn't responding to us. And then on his social media was quiet. So I was like, okay, he hasn't posted since October. So, okay. And then I was like, oh my God, maybe he got he's in the
something
hospital.
Happened. Yeah.
Maybe, God forbid he got in an accident. Like, so then we start asking the guy who we knows him, hey, could you give him a call? Like, we're really concerned about him. Mm-hmm. Then one day, so I just had...
And he didn't respond to him either.
And he didn't respond to him either. His friend. So then we're really like, oh my gosh, like this isn't like him.
Yeah.
So...
Because we had worked with him. I mean, we have over 2 years...
Of working with him.
Pretty much flawlessly.
Yes.
No problems at all.
Never any problems.
No, nothing.
There was no bad feeling, no nothing. I mean, he filmed. We were like, thanks, great. We can't wait to see everything.
Yeah.
Great. So then I remember I'm sitting in bed. I had just had my shoulder surgery. It was like maybe like right before after Christmas, like I think right before Christmas. And I'm like, I look and a story pops up that he posted.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, really? So I sent it to Kelly and I'm like, well, we know he's alive.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you don't post on your stories if you're like, in an accident or something.
Exactly.
So then Kelly sends him a message like, hey, glad to see you're alive. Like, we were very concerned.
Where's our content?
Where's our content?
Yeah.
He blocks her.
Yeah. Block me on one account, but not the other.
Yeah. Blocks her. Doesn't block me. So then we go back to the text message and we wrote him and we're like, we're really confused. Like, what is going on? Like, why won't you talk to us? Why won't you answer us? Like, why can't we have any of our content? He then won't answer us, but then sends us a folder with a bunch of crap in it that had like unedited,
it's
raw.
It's the raw without color.
Without color.
Just one huge big file.
With
sound.
Trashy sound.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was the most appalling thing. I was like, what would you like us to do with this?
Exactly.
Like, this isn't even anything that a professional should even send to anyone. No. Like, why would you send this to us knowing, like, what are we doing with this? Like, you would never do that.
As a professional. No. That's how I came to, I was a professional photographer. So I know for a fact that when you shoot for, and I shot weddings, for George Strait team roping, I shot all of these different events and seniors, all that kind of stuff. So what you think you're seeing when you get the presentation from your photographer or videographer in this instance, what you think is your original raw footage, it's not.
It's not.
Because it goes through at least one pass of the professional to take out blinks, to take out anything that's trash, to take out anything like that. Because if not, it's too overwhelming. Oh my God,
when I get photo shoots with like we shoot thousands of pictures. Yeah. It's like he sends it to me finally. It's like he like first sorts through all the junk when I'm flipping my hair or the wind hits or on my eyes or like whatever.
You don't need to see any of that.
But like I also like I mean, this guy sent us the rawest of the raw with it's basically there's nothing like it
Straight
would be like a
camera.
photographer sending you one that you're like blinking and your eyes like what am I ever I'm never doing anything like
exactly.
that. So like this is pointless to send. He sent us pointless stuff. So then I'm like, wow, like okay, thanks. So then I wrote him again saying like, hey, like this is all useless to us. Like is like and I'm like, did we do something? Like what's wrong? Crickets. And then I wrote him on a separate thread being like, hi, I thought we were friends. Like we've worked together. Like we this content was supposed to be for our business for December. Like what? Nothing. Won't respond to me
an entire
either.
day. I mean, I can't see why, it's just, none of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense. So meanwhile, he's posting on his social media. He's going about his life. And instead of giving us an explanation, hey, I just don't have time to edit this. Or, hey, I do nothing.
But he doesn't edit it anyway. It's somebody else.
So like what's the problem? Or unless like, I don't even know what, I have no excuse. I can't even imagine what his excuse is. So anyway, that's really unprofessional, disgusting. I'll obviously never work with him again, but that really, and we even had the other guy who knew him try calling him. He won't answer. I'm like, did we all do something? Did even the guy like in the shipping department do something to you? What's your deal, buddy? And what makes another company more important than us that you can't give us our content?
Just really.
And he could have at least given us the good quality content so that we could then have another editor edit it.
Yeah.
So now we have nothing to show from that brand trip. So that was pretty sad. We have our kitchen stuff and we have any pictures that we all took on our phone.
Yeah, exactly.
But like
there was so much good stuff.
Yeah, and I purposely wasn't with my camera all the time because I'm like, I hired a videographer. Exactly. What am I hiring him for if I'm going to be on my camera?
Yeah.
That was the whole point. So that was very upsetting. So like we do still have like we had our kitchen stuff with them. We did take some pictures and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
That was a bummer. So that's why if you guys, I mean, if some of you were, because if you listen to the ladies also did their podcast.
Yeah.
And we spoke, we hyped up the brand trip. We were telling you guys about how much fun it was. We were hoping we'd have some content to also bring you into what we did.
Exactly.
I mean, we had a bunch of lunches, we had dinner, we had all kinds of fun stuff.
It was a lot.
And I was excited to see the shipping department stuff because the women were having a blast. We were filling orders. They were running around.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
It was a lot of
really
fun. I mean, it was the first time ever we let people come in and like kind of, see the rawness of devotion. And, and then we, wah, wah.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, we live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn. So that was a brand trip, but it was a lot of fun. And I did a recap with Teresa and Tanya on their podcast, and then we spoke about it on both of the podcasts that they did for us, and then I also was on theirs to do a brand trip. So I don't know, you can hear about it, but yeah, that's about it. We are literally at the end of 24, and I think that I feel more accomplished having this conversation. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Well, there was a lot of, we just now remembered stuff that we hadn't remembered when we sent out the...
Unbelievable.
So that's pretty crazy.
We did a lot. I'm proud of us. I do feel satisfied. I mean, even we've come far with it with our shipping department and our setup in there and all of our stuff. I mean, it's so many ways we've grown in just 1 year.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's awesome.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. When I moved, it was us.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is it. Us. We were the employees, and then we had family.
Yep.
And
helping.
We would bring in friends and to Kit and all that kind of stuff. And
yep.
Look at us now.
And we also brought Amazon back in house.
Oh yes.
That's huge.
Holy cow.
Guys, if you want to order from Amazon, that's
us now.
It's us.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So we've done a lot. I'm really proud of the company. I'm proud of all of my employees, everybody who, has stuck with us. We have a loyal crew.
We do. A very loyal crew.
A really loyal crew. But they love us. They love what the company stands for. It feels good to help people, and they're proud of what they see, what we put out there.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. I mean, I know Dan is always writing me. Dan's the head of our shipping department.
Yes.
And so he's like behind the scenes of getting the orders out. But, you know, he'll always like, if he'll see me, he'll see Aunt Linda, he'll see whatever. And he'll be like, oh, that was funny. Or, you know, it's like, you know, and I see that a lot of them are following us and they're all, because, you know, they're behind the scenes. They're getting the orders out. They're keeping our inventory. They're keeping our warehouse, you know, organized. Doing all the kitting. They're getting orders out in a timely manner. When you guys get your order, everything, you know, the way that the box is put together, you know, with a lot of love and care. And so it takes a whole village. It takes a whole team to do all that we do, you know? I mean, seriously, when I think about it, it's like, you know, each area of the company is very important. It's not like we have any members that are just like dead weight. Everybody is executing things that need to get done, and they all have their importance. And so that's what I always try to remember is like what is it they say? Like you're only as strong as your weakest link. You know, if we have somebody that's holding us back, well, it's like, or their quality is crappy, it's making us look bad. If you get a box and everything's thrown in and upside down and looks like,
unless it was carrier neglect.
Well, carrier, that's different.
Just want to point that out.
Yes. No, the carriers, I mean, they're the ones that make us look bad when your package shows up and it's like rolled over by a truck or like smashed in.
Crazy.
I'm like, I don't know. It didn't leave us.
I can promise you it did not leave the warehouse like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Like
I've seen some of those pictures and I'm like, oh, wow. No, that's not
I would love to just like put a little like camera on a box and see the journey the box goes through. It's like, you know, tumbling around and being tossed, and who knows? Yeah. Some of the packages show up that I don't understand what they're doing, but you know, I mean, but no, it doesn't leave our warehouse like that. So, but anyway, wow, this was a good recap.
Yeah.
This is really good. All right, so
good for us.
Yeah,
too.
cheers to 2024.
Yes.
We're looking forward to 2025. We already have stuff in our back pocket. We're working on. We're ready. I'm feeling excited for 2025.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough to top this now that we've recapped everything.
It's gonna be tough.
But we have some. Yeah, we have some. I don't want to give it. It
sounds like it's gonna be tough, but I think it's like.
No, it's going to be really, really good. Like,
it's going to be good.
All the stuff that we have in there, I actually went over that with Q the other day. I was like, because we get excited sometimes, we forget to tell him. So it's like, okay, I just want to tell you what was swirling around with me and Dana the other day. And he's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So,
No, we've got like a lot of good stuff. And anybody who I've told like our plans to, they're like really stoked. And I don't know. And to me, it just sounds right. So it's exciting. And, we'll work on some new flavors. We'll work on some, you know, like I said, the next batch of Hydroflax.
Yeah.
And then we'll also keep in our eyes and ears peeled for new things like the frothers and like the different tools that can help people. Mm-hmm. That's what this is all about. So, all right. Awesome. Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year.
And stay tuned for 2025.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time on an episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast.